Thomas Nelson has been busy with the New English Translation, producing lots of different editions. Here's a look at the single column reference edition. This is in British 10. 8-point font in the comfort print designed by 2K Denmark. Cross-reference system, concordance, maps. Let's take a look. So this is British 10. It's imitation leather, leather soft. It does look nice. It's smooth to the touch, double perimeter stitching with a little icon there, debossed in there. And then we have our text printed in gold. Smythe sewn, 2 satin ribbons, and gold gilt. And take a look at what we got here. Now the cover is stiff on this one, a lot stiffer than the other NETs that I've reviewed from them. The liner is paste down, and the end sheet is the presentation page. That's the only thick end sheet, so there's not any other end sheets there for structure. I've got that all bent and crinkled. Made in China. The paper is, I'm guessing, low 30s in GSM. It's easy enough to turn because it's got a little bit of a rough texture, and it's easy enough to grab and separate. No trouble there. The opacity is not the best, but it's not bad at all. Partially because the text itself is not overly dark. It's about a medium in darkness. Single column setting with about 14 words across, and the references are in the margin at the bottom, places close to the bottom as you can get. So there is our layout. Now this does have the some footnotes, but it's not the extensive set of footnotes. It's the abridged footnotes that they've been placing in their standard reference editions and the text editions. It's a good layout. We have a poetic setting. Section headings are in bold italics. This is a black letter edition, but it does have Old Testament quotes in bold italics, as we'll see in a minute. So there's our poetic setting. Poetry looks really good in this, and you can see how it's set apart from the verse numbers, while prose is not. Now the verse numbers are small and light, so they're a little bit difficult to find fast if you're looking for them. One thing to point out, since we have a lot of space where there are no references, that gives you some space for writing. Since they're not in the footer, I do find them stacked easier to use. But since they're not in the footer, then that's this much space that you don't have for your text, so your text is a little bit smaller. It is an 8-point font. It is sharp. It's easy to read if you don't have any issues reading 8-point. I do like the text. I like the design a lot. I would almost like to see the references in the footer. I do find them more difficult to use, but when they're just all the way across. But that could get us a larger text. If you don't need a larger text, then that does not matter. This is an excellent size for carry. This is my favorite size footprint. And there's our Old Testament quotes. So when you're talking about footprint for a Bible, this is my favorite right here. And I'll show you why in just a minute. Not my favorite font size, but that's a different story. I'm 52. I need a larger print. I can read this though. No trouble at all. I can read it right now without my glasses. So we have our concordance. It's a decent concordance. It's got a lot of biographical information in here. Really good concordance. Excellent for study, sermon prep. This is a good Bible for carry. I don't know that I would try to follow along with someone because the verse number is a little difficult. Here's we have for God. That's a lot of verses. All the way up. That is a lot. Yeah, that's extensive. That's a good concordance. Lots of references, good concordance. And then in the very back we have our maps on the slightly shiny semi-gloss paper, I guess. These are the thicker paper. So overall size, we have 5.5 by 8 5/8 by 1 1/4, right at 1 1/4. That's the perfect size. I love that size. It's not heavy, so it's easy to carry. So especially if you're the kind that needs to carry something smaller or lighter, this is good for that. We have 1 pound 9.6 ounces. One of the Bibles I want to compare to is the New King James single column. And the reason for that is they have a similar design and a similar footprint. Footprint is almost identical. The difference, of course, being the thickness. A lot thinner. This Bible is noticeably thinner. But here is our design. It is basically the same. The difference you're going to have, of course, the New King James has a larger print. This is my favorite print. I love that print. It's an excellent size. But, you know, in order to get a smaller Bible, that you're going to get that smaller print. So that's how they do that. If you need a larger print, then you're going to have a lot thicker Bible. I do prefer the thinner Bible. I do think, though, that if we place these down here, we could get a little bit larger font. Here's a quick look at how they compare. Noticeably larger font. Here's the large print thin line NET. And they have about the same thickness. It actually might be a little thinner. Just barely. And then there's a footprint. And then the font. Now this is a large print, but it does have the in double column, but it does have the references in the footer. Here's what that looks like. And then one more, the NET Full Notes Edition. Quite a bit bigger. And of course the Full Notes Edition does not have references. And the font is slightly larger than the personal size. Just slightly larger. And the font is also darker. It's noticeably darker. So there's how they compare. So that's a quick look at the NET Bible Single Column Reference Edition from Thomas Nelson. That's an excellent Bible for carry. It's an excellent Bible for reading. It might be a little difficult to follow along with someone, but it does have some space there for notes if you want to use it. I like it. I like it a lot. I do wish the cover wasn't so stiff, but I like it a lot. That's a good Bible. I recommend it. Thomas Nelson did supply this in exchange for an honest review. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll place some links in the notes where you can make a purchase or where you can see the full review on BibleBuyingGuide.com with more photos and more detail. Thanks for watching.